Hi, Misha here, and this is a quick little intro. We have it, and we're gonna shoot it. The new Zastava PAP M90PS from Serbia. This is 5.56 223 with a 1 in 7 twist, cold hammer forged, chrome lined 18.2-inch barrel. Regular threads, and we'll talk about all the other features here in a bit, show you what comes in the box. But yeah, this is the latest thing from Zastava-USA, and people have been asking what we think of it, how it shoots. So with that, we'll find out. We'll also try some different mags in it, including Arsenal and Baril. Bolt hold open mag. And they actually insert very easily. And it does have its factory double hook trigger. So with that, yeah, let's check out what comes in the box, and then we'll come back out here to the cabin range and see how it shoots. And here is what you get with the Zastava M90PS as of at least right now. Pretty decent glossy paper owner's manual. Folded up piece of paper congratulating you from buying it. One polymer 30 round M21 style mag with metal lug and bolt hold open follower. Rail sections for the Hogue handguard, and a 3-piece sectional cleaning rod that is quite greasy. This is meant to go in the mag pouch, presumably, because it will not fit under the barrel. There is a hole, but there isn't space in the handguard. And looking at pictures online of the M21, it does not seem to have a cleaning rod under the barrel either. So I'm going to assume it's an M21 style pattern cleaning rod. The M90PS is a sporter civilian legal version of the M90 assault rifle. Now, we've talked about the original Yugoslavian M70, which was basically a reverse engineered AK47/AKM. This is my OPAP, which is the original version of the ZPAP of today. This is, you know, a unique AK with a unique attachment method for the stock, extended handguards, 1.5 mil receiver, heavy front trunnion, and a medium heavy profile 16.25-inch barrel. Also, it has the bolt carrier group in the white and a blued finish and a unique spring takedown method and a kind of vertically stacked rivet pattern there. So it's no surprise that the M90 pretty much shares the same features. Type of receiver, rivet style. We do have a longer barrel. We still have a blued finish though. The original M70 was of course chambered for 7.62x39. And Yugoslavia's first effort at a 5.56 rifle was the M80. And that was evolved into the M85 carbine, which was an AKSU, a shorty, with a 10-inch barrel. Yugoslavia never adopted 5.45x39, so when they went from 7.62x39, they jumped straight to 5.56. And they were developing the M90 based on the M80 as a full-fledged assault rifle, but the Civil War happened. So it was in very limited production and never was officially adopted by Yugoslavia's army. It would evolve into the M95, a slightly updated version. And it's from these that we get the modern M21. Now, our current import, the M90PS, is an interesting hybrid. There were some M90, M95 parts kits that came into the USA 10, 20 years ago, and those very much more resembled the original M70, including with wood furniture. And while the M90 semi-auto here does have some of those original features, because it is made in the 21st century at the same factory as the M21, it's ended up with some M21 features as well. In fact, the major differences between it and the M21 seem to be that it has a different buttstock, different pistol grip, different handguard, and the muzzle device is different. You know, things you can understand for being a semi-automatic import. Now this takes the original rock and lock mags. For the M80 and M90, these were steel, but beginning with the M21, they went to the polymer mag here with steel reinforcements, kind of a waffle pattern. And there was a previous version imported by Century Arms known as the M90-NP. The bones of the gun were the same, except it had kind of chintzy black furniture, and more importantly, it had a black polymer magwell adapter installed to let it take AR-15 mags, M16, M4. That sounds good, except in order to let the magwell adapter fit properly, the receiver and trunnion had to be open up. So once modified to take the AR mags, it was virtually impossible to revert it back to take the original mags, or at least to do so without a lot of slop. And a lot of us just didn't like that. It looked ugly, and I don't know, AR mags and an AK. So that's why I kind of passed on the M90-NP, but when I heard the M90-PS with original magwell and higher quality furniture was coming out, I was more interested. Plus, I think a lot of our attitudes about 223 5.56 caliber AKs have changed and evolved over the last several years. So let's talk about features. Beginning at the muzzle, we're threaded 14x1 left hand, and it comes with a sugar scoop, but of course you can put whatever you want on it. And it does have a spring-loaded detent. No night sight spot, but that's to be expected. This is a pretty neat barrel. It's about 18.2 inches long, cold hammer forged, chrome lined, and 1-in-7 twist. We have an extended length gas system with 3-way gas regulator. The gas piston actually is kind of hollow in the front. They say they do this to improve reliability and accuracy. I would also imagine it would help with firing suppressed, but I could be wrong. We have a Hogue brand handguard, which is actually quite comfortable, and it has little inserts here that can be replaced with rail sections. Standard iron sight, bolt carrier, Magpul MOE grip with storage compartment, and a Magpul so-called Zukov side folding. And I can do it here on camera single-handed. I'm going to set you down. Adjustable buttstock. Not a bad stock, frankly. On here, we have a standard AK safety, but it does have the manual hold open hole notch and standard AK release. Otherwise, yeah, you kind of know what you're getting. Flipping it over, we see a standard Yugo front sling swivel, which is kind of nice because it's the wider pattern. A little more versatility than on a typical Kalashnikov type. The barrel is not a super heavy profile, but it's not pencil thin either. Handguard here. This receiver is 1.5 millimeter stamped steel. It has a heavy-duty bulged front trunnion. The metal has a blued finish. We have a thick top cover, smooth. We have a standard PAP scope rail on the side for optics. We have the standard spring-loaded takedown button here to press this in for easy disassembly. And it has the original Zastava trigger group. The US parts would seem to be muzzle brake, muzzle device, handguard, pistol grip, and buttstock. And so there's at least two more hiding. I would imagine either internals or magazine components. I am not rightly sure because this just came in. And it is clearly marked made in Serbia, Zastava-USA, all that good stuff. Let's take a look inside. Pretty standard Zastava or Yugo pattern top cover, recoil spring. Looking in, we do see that this has the double hook trigger, which I personally like. And here's our feed ramp. Standard AK rear sight. But what's not so standard is the bolt carrier. We have some lightning cuts going on the back. But more interestingly, we have this very long piston. It is flexible, as should be. And then you get to the head, it is hollow. Kind of neat. Definitely a different looking bolt carrier. And here's our bolt itself. Interestingly, it has a free floating firing pin. And I say that because most 223 5.56 caliber AKs we come across have a spring-loaded firing pin, but not all for sure. Nice and greasy for nice protection and very nice machining, in my opinion, on these parts, at least for, the money. Let's talk about the mag well and magazines. As with most sporting rifles, this has to be imported to take lower capacity mags, but once in the USA, the mag well is opened up to take standard mags, and it comes with the factory mag here. So it inserts quite easily. At least you're not trying to do it one-handed. Let me sit you down. Nice, satisfying click. Keep in mind with new polymer mags of any make, they can be tight in the very beginning, but they should wear in just fine. And there's very little to no play, and it is a bolt hold open mag, which is nice. But with that, let's try out some of the other 223 5.56 caliber AK mags on the market today. So on the left we have the Zastava polymer mag. Then we have the 30 round black waffle from Arsenal. Then the 20 round smoke waffle from Arsenal. And then finally the 30 round translucent green from FB Ratum. WBP also makes a very similar magazine, just with a different logo. So let's see which ones will fit in our M90-PS. Right now at this time, the Zastava mags are actually the cheapest. That's just because they just came in. But the next most affordable is the Polish, meant for the burial. So let's try it, and I've got it started off here. And it locks in okay. Fits a little tight, but this is a new production mag. Yeah. Little tiny bit of side-to-side play. No front to back play. Now that's not to say it'll run reliably, but it is fitting just fine. So Polish mags, at least at the first check, seem to work. Next up, let's try on the 20-round smoke arsenal. This stuff is very difficult to do one-handed. But it actually locks in with a nice satisfying click. Let's see about any wiggle here. Essentially none. So we're fitting pretty nicely with these two. I kind of figured this would work because a friend has an M85 and it takes these just fine. However, it is pickier about these. And now finally, the 30-round black arsenal. And I'm just going to set you down. It goes, but if you notice, it doesn't completely close the latch. If you want to do that, you'll have to push on it a bit. Both ways. And we've seen this before in other fitments. It goes in, but yeah, it would probably need a little bit of filing. And again, I kind of knew this starting off because these two are slightly different. This has more of a protrusion. It's smaller, but it sticks out further. And this is flatter in the front, but larger, meaning the lug isn't pushed back as far. And if you look at the Zastava mag, it resembles more the 20-round arsenal. So I think the 30 can easily be file fitted. It may work in yours, you know, tolerances and all that, but the 20 snapped right in. And the burial, while a little stiff, also snapped right in. Oops. It too has a little bit of a protrusion on the front, but not as much as the black one. So mag compatibility so far looks pretty good. Alright, it's time. We've looked at the features, the accessories, even taken it apart and tried different mags. But how does it shoot? Taking it to the range, we're going to start off with the factory mag it came with. And the only change I made, I installed the birdcage flash hider over the slant brake, just because I thought it was more in keeping with the modern look. Also, one thing to note, because of the wider front sling swivel, a standard 2-point sling will fit. Even a 1 1/4 inch wide, which gives you more sling flexibility than on a standard AK, at least most of them. So, let's try it out with the factory mag and some decent ammunition. First shots. Good there?
Yeah, I'm probably going to get hit in the face with some brass, but we'll see.
Anyway, very first shots out of the M90. And held up it on the last round.
that seems heavy light.
Ultimately, we tried it with 3 factory mags, and all worked perfectly, even holding open on the last shot. And we fitted the mags earlier, and of the aftermarket mags, the one that worked the best seemed to be the 20 round Arsenal. So let's give that a go. Let's see if it works. So we're gonna try the M90 with an Arsenal 20 round waffle. 10 rounds. And yeah, the 20 round Arsenal not only fits quite well and comes in and out just fine, at least when you're not trying to do it one-handed, it seems to feed perfectly fine. So with that, let's just keep on shooting it. I'll let a couple other people do it, and we're going to try different types of ammo. Kind of had a mix of some wolf, some bear, even had a couple of boxes of 62 grain Tula ammo, which is not something I typically shoot. But it was there, it's an AK, we've been living through an ammo crunch, so we'll even try it with Tula. So, we'll shoot it a bit, and then end here with some final thoughts. Alrighty, M90 again, back with its factory mag. And we held open.
I'm getting rained on over here.
You're supposed to be catching them, not.
I got pegged.
Oh. What'd you think?
I like it. It's real smooth.
Now let's try the M90 with Tula, just because I had a box. Even held open.
That one's loud.
Alright, one more time with Jero and the M90.
Worked that time.
Alrighty, I guess that was just a fluke. I'll explain to the folks when we go back to the table. Throughout the day, this gun was fired on and off by a few different people. It was the first gun I shot, and actually I think it was the last gun I shot. And at the end there you heard me refer to, and let's talk about an issue. We had one throughout the day. And it very well could have been a fluke. And of course, it was one of the times a camera wasn't rolling. That's how it always goes. Every time the camera was on, it worked perfectly. What happened? When Jero was shooting it once, the last 2 rounds of a mag kind of double tapped, double fired. Boom, boom, you know? What happened there? Well, don't really know 100% for sure. But I suspect that was Tula ammo, which is already kind of meh. And when we recovered the casing, it had a very light and somewhat off-center primer strike. It seems like, through just a fluke of the gun, or maybe the ammunition itself, you had hammer follow. It's out here. And as I pointed out towards the beginning of the video, this has a free-floating firing pin. And there's a reason that most 223 5.56 AKs, from the Galil through many of the arsenals, have a spring-loaded firing pin. Military 5.56 ammo has plenty hard primers, no problems there with without a spring. But commercial grade ammunition can sometimes have soft primers. And this combined with perhaps a hammer follow could have produced the double tap. I did try to repeat it. In fact, we were about to call it a day when that happened. So we did shoot it a couple more mags, and it never happened again. And so at this point, I'm just ruling it as a fluke. Could have been grease in the firing pin because it's a new gun. But it is something we will keep an eye on going forward as we keep testing and trying this gun out. It'll probably never happen again, but, you know, with AKs, once in a while you might have hammer follow or a double tap on a floating firing pin. I don't know. But that's the only malfunction we had. Otherwise, perfect cycling. And actually, this was a very smooth and light shooting gun. This adjustable gas kind of showed its worth. It did not have that typical AK over gas feel. The trigger is actually very nice for a military type trigger. Magazines insert and remove quite nicely. And both bolt hold back devices worked fine for us, including the follower one in the magazine and the manual one for the safety here. See, it catches it here on the bolt on the mag. Those work fine. Top cover still fits plenty tight, no problems there. The MOA pistol grip is perfectly comfortable. People liked the adjustable length of the Zukov buttstock, different heights, perfectly comfortable. And this Hogue handguard, perhaps one of my favorite parts as far as the furniture, because it's kind of rubbery on the bottom and has an extended grip. Just a very comfortable handguard that worked well for us. And as far as accuracy goes, that's not something I can tell you about, but I can tell you at close testing ranges they were hitting cans and jugs with no problems, and the sights seemed reasonably dead on right out of the box. So, kind of final thoughts in this year of the 223 AK. And last mag with the Zastava. It'll be held open. I'm sure many are curious how this compares to the new Baril M556 or Mini Baril pistol, or for that matter, the Arsenal SAM5 and SLR 106 series. Well, I think that's a good topic for another video, especially as we get more trigger time with this. This was the first outing, the first day. Heck, these were released just last Thursday. So I want to be fair and honest. The Archer has been a great gun, the Baril has been a great gun, and the SAM5 is a great Bulgarian gun for what it is. But first impressions of this M90-PS are very positive. It was a hit at the range. Again, very nice to shoot. And the magazines were easy to load and load into the gun and remove. Nice finish to the metal. Military grade, of course, but still perfectly good. You get a perfectly decent scope mounting option. The 18-inch barrel with the 1-in-7 twist should give you plenty of flexibility, as should the 3-way regulator on the gas block. And being threaded 14x1 is great too. I have no idea if Zastava guarantees these threads to be concentric or not. That's something you would have to ask them. It is nice though that instead of kind of cheapening out on the furniture, they put on reasonably quality stuff. You know, the MOE grip is what it is, but the folding and collapsing Zukov type stock is quite nice. It's very similar to the ACR stock, and you can always replace it with another M70 compatible type if you wish. And the Hogue handguard is in my opinion, an upgrade from the MOE or Magpul handguard. And as you saw, it does come with a couple of rail sections already. So this is a quite well appointed gun straight out of the box. And compared with the SAM 5 and Baril 5.56, it's the cheapest. The SAM 5 and the Baril both have a retail price of $1,500. This has a retail price of about $1,250, so about $250 less retail. And you get some stuff with it. I don't want to say it's good to go yet, because it's such a new gun. No one's had a lot of time to work with it and to really see how it'll hold up. For example, issues with the rear here that we're developing with some of the early NPAPs. But those were on 1.0 millimeter receivers, whereas this is a 1.5. There again, though, 5.56 223 is a little harsher than 7.62x39. I do believe the barrel will hold up just fine. Zastava's barrels do. And I do believe that Zastava-USA has improved the quality from the days of Century Arms. That said, though, the M90-PS that Century imported have been out for 5 years, and I haven't heard of any major issues with those. Though Century did import them in pretty small numbers, to be fair. So we'll have to just wait and see. But I would say this has met, or even in some areas, exceeded my expectations. And we will do a comparison video with this and the other 223 AK types later on in the year. For now, though, it deserved its own day. I'm trying to think if I have any real gripes about it. I mean, it's not a true M21, but that's not really a negative. It's just, I think a lot of people would have preferred a straight M21, but this isn't exactly a straight M90 either. It's kind of a hodgepodge of both. And some might not like that it does not take AR mags, but all in all, I would say taking the factory mags, that's a net gain. And these are quality mags. They're lightweight. They do have metal reinforcements. They have a bolt hold open follower. And they worked well. They were reliable. And right now, you can get a 2-pack quite affordably from places like Atlantic. And Zastava-USA distributes to other places too. So, yeah, just nut up, and when you buy the gun, grab 2 or 3 extra mags, and you'll be fine. And as we showed you, the Arsenal 20 rounders seem to work fine, although it's a pretty short test. The 30 rounders will probably work fine, but probably need a little bit of file fitting. And the Brill mags, WBP mags, seem fine too. Yeah, I don't know. I'm having a hard time. I'm trying to be fair, but I can't think of any major complaints. It's a relatively lightweight gun. It's quite compact thanks to the stock. Very attractive military style finish. Nice trigger. Again, I like double hook, and it appears to be a machined trigger. If it's a cast one, it's a very smooth, well done casting. And maybe next time we'll play with the adjustable gas block. We didn't do it this time. So with that, I'll ask you, has anyone else picked up an M90 yet? And if so, we'd love to hear what you think about it. This is something we've been excited for, and first impressions, very good. If you have any questions or comments, please do post them below. Do my best to answer. And as always, if you could, please like, share, and subscribe, and check out our Patreon page. This is Misha, and I'll catch you very soon, probably with more AK stuff, next time.